All right. Bernie Sanders was on Weeby's favorite TV show, Real Time with Bill Maher. Let's take a look at some of the takes. I saw one tweet about it where Bernie apparently wasn't able to describe the answer to equality versus equity, which is such a right-wing framing for any kind of like, it's such like anti-socialist, it's such anti-socialist right-wing reactionary framing from Bill Maher, which is not surprising. That's why Weeby loves him, because he is a reactionary right-winger.
You were advocating at the Supreme Court, I think it was last week, right? Because, or maybe it was this week, that the Supreme Court is looking at Biden's giveaway to people who own debt.
Giveaway is your term, not my term.
Well, they have college debt. Yeah. Okay, and we're going to give them money.
We're going to forgive debt.
Well, we're arguing about the same thing, but there was no argument. We're giving the money away. Okay, so I just want to read you this. And again, this is against why people sometimes, I think, question some of what you're saying. This is a survey, student loan forgiveness recipients. 73% of applicants say they are likely to spend their extra money on non-essential, including vacations, smartphone, drugs, and alcohol. They admitted that.
Oh my God, he is so right-wing, dude. He is so incredibly right-wing. First of all, smartphone, drugs, and alcohol. Like, why did you put smartphone in there? Smartphone, drugs, and alcohol? The fuck do you mean? Smartphone is like everything.
Drugs and alcohol. Extra money on non-essential, including vacations, smartphone, drugs, and alcohol.
What do you mean, smartphone? Survey of 200 people at ASU? Yeah. I don't actually understand why he added smartphone into this, or I guess like the people surveying the ASU, 200 ASU students added that in there, because like it kind of makes no sense. Yeah, no shit. Like people will spend money on their smartphone. Not essential, drugs and vacation, insulin and paid leave. No, I mean, who cares? And who cares ultimately? Like what does this fucking take? Like, oh well, you know, if you get debt relief when school should be fucking free in general, when college should be free already, if you get debt relief, if you get a little bit of financial restitution from that, and you want to spend it on whatever the fuck you want to spend it on, like, oh, that's not allowed. Like, fuck you. I hate it. I hate this argument when people are like, people are buying steaks with their EBT card. It's like, fuck you, man. What, if you're poor, you're not supposed to eat steak? Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Fuck yourself, okay? Especially when it's some dumb bitch like, some dumbass like fucking Bill Maher who like does everything. Like this dude still goes to sex clubs and shit, bro. What? Is it only for you because you hit the lottery and got lucky enough to make it in Hollywood? So only you get to have fun? Like, fuck you. People should be able to have fun. If they want to buy shit, they can buy shit. I hate that. He's reading a study, bud. Nah, they're buying coke. That's the problem. Whataboutism. How? I'd spend it on a trip to Italy and plenty of drugs. He's reading a study, bud. Yeah, one, we already undermined the study by talking about how it was only 200 college students from ASU, which is like hyper-specific and doesn't have a good enough sampling size. Number two, that's not technically called a study for the record, okay? That's just a bullshit survey. Number three, okay, I'm already undermining the inherent reactionary take here that, like, people have to spend it on things, okay? Things that people have to spend it on, like essential things, if they get debt relief. When school should already be free. So it doesn't fucking matter, okay? 44% said that they would actually spend the extra money on the smartphone. 43% said investing in the stock market. 42% said gifts, gaming system, wedding, drugs, alcohol, gambling. None of the... By the way, oh my God, this study is so bad. The more I find out about the study, the more I realize, like, it is so fucking stupid. Wedding, non-essential things like a wedding. Non-essential things like, gambling, fine. Drugs and alcohol, fine. That's a classic trope. But the idea that, like, or a gaming system, the idea that, like, investing in a stock market, smartphone, and weddings are considered, like, non-essential is really fucking stupid. Smartphone is absolutely essential. A wedding could be essential in this regard. Anyway, not only that, the study is already like sampled horrifyingly poorly. So that's hilarious. But even then, it doesn't even matter. It does not even matter. Because if people want to spend it on non-essential shit, they should be able to spend it on non-essential shit. 4 out of 10 say that student loans haven't negatively affected their lives. Dude, this study is awesome. All data is from a survey commissioned by intelligent.com and conducted by, in total, 1,250 Americans on the survey platform Pollfish. It wasn't 200. It's 1,250, which is a decent number. Appropriate, but it's a fucking Pollfish survey. That's insane. The sample size is completely insignificant because it is a Pollfish survey. Are you joking? I could conduct a survey in this chat right now, and so many of you would write the dumbest fucking answers. That does not mean it's an adequate survey. It's a web poll. It is a self-selecting web poll. If you use this to guide any kind of legislation, you are the dumbest person I've ever seen in my entire life. But some of you are so motivated to keep up this unjustifiable system that you will use this idiotic survey. Pollfish has users voting multiple times for vacation like it's a contest entry for a vacation. Yeah. Even if they're in college, they haven't faced the pressures of student loans placed on people. Guys, this is idiotic. Completely fucking idiotic. Not only is the survey idiotic, not only is the survey itself idiotic, but the contents of the survey are stupid as well. Like, these numbers don't make sense. 45% said that they would fucking spend it on food. But we shouldn't have a say in where people spend this kind of money, this additional money. Because half the time, for example, people will go out and buy a car, right? Now, you might think it's non-essential, right? You can make that argument. They're like, oh, what the fuck? They're buying a car. It helps the economy, you fucking idiot. That's why you do debt relief. If you want to talk about it from like the higher level concept, debt relief is good for the economy. It gives people more purchasing power. It feeds back into the economy immediately, especially when a lot of these people are spenders and not holders like wealthier people are. Poor people immediately cycle the money back into the economy, whereas wealthy people will invest it, okay? Will park their assets. So them purchasing stuff is kind of the point of why they do debt relief, especially when you realize that the main reason for why this debt even exists is fraudulent. This debt should not exist because public education should truly be free up to the college level. So yeah, I don't care. I think it's an overall good thing. I don't give a shit what you do, okay? And even if you are going to gamble it, which I would say don't do that, obviously, okay? Obviously, don't fucking gamble your student loan debt relief. It's not up to me, or that's not what I would cut. That is not what I would cut policy off of when you shouldn't have fucking gotten that kind of debt anyway. That college should be free. Anyway.
They admitted that to the pollster.
Who is this pollster?
NBC News.
That's bullshit. That's not NBC News. He's lying.
52% they are very likely to buy new clothing. 46% they would use the money for vacation and eat out at restaurants. This is why people have a thing about...
That's called inflation, you moron. If the government gives money to its people and they spend it on commodities, then it's essentially a cash injection into the economy. Says Brody, California. Wait, why are you calling me a moron? Wait, why are you so... Why so mean, chatter? I don't understand. Are you calling Bill Maher that. I don't know what's going on. You didn't use the right term. Wait, what? America's learned what inflation was in 2022, and it's embarrassing. Yeah, it's also embarrassing because they think inflation only occurs when there's more money in the economy, or when there's more purchasing power within the economy. And no such deflationary mechanisms exist, like, I don't know, taxing or anything else other than raising interest rates. When wealthy people get cash injections, when the stock market gets cash injections, that's fine, because wealthy people know what to do with the money. When poor people get cash injections, they have to buy things. So obviously that makes things more expensive. That's the only reason why things get more expensive. There's no other way that things would get more expensive, like if our corporate consolidation has gotten to a point where like companies can basically get away with raising the price of goods because they recognize that people do have the purchasing power, and artificially limit the supply, for example. It's not that could never cause inflation to happen. Price gouging, exactly. Especially when the reality is that, like, oh, what the fuck? My brain pooped a little bit. I apologize. My right shoulder hurts a lot. I don't know why. And it's like, I do have jet lag. So give me a break here. I forgot what I was saying. Oh. No, actually, I don't know. I forgot. It's done. Do you smell burnt toast? No. The inflation effect of forgiving loans has mostly been felt already because people haven't had to pay their loans for 3 years already. They're already living that purchasing power largely. Sure, certainly.
I would never call it free money. Oh, I guess I just did. But
Well, let me respond to that in two ways, Bill.
I know it's been a few hours since you talked about Japan, but don't you think that the fact that their society works so well despite capitalism means their collectivist mindset towards society is more what people should strive for rather than a certain economic system like socialism? I might be wrong. I don't know. I mean, collectivist mindset is creating outcomes that would be similar to socialism, but no, I think that Japan still has many economic problems. So that's precisely the point. Instead of trying to instill collectivist attitudes through xenophobia and nationalism, you should instill collectivist attitudes from virtue of your relations to the means of production, for example, and what role you play in society. That's the main difference, especially when you do that, you will have a more even distribution of resources for everyone, and you will also eliminate the other problems like high rates of suicide, for example, and being overworked and feeling alienated and isolated. Because if you go to Japan, one thing you will recognize is that, like, the hyper-capitalist dystopia of Japan, while beautiful and functioning to a certain degree, also kind of hides the very sad reality that the desperate salaryman literally can go to a bar on a night out and basically artificially create human social interaction in the brief moments that he has alone, because he doesn't have any time for friendship. He doesn't have any time for himself. He has no time to recollect his thoughts. So he just goes to a bar and drinks his sorrows away. Now, drinking is a social function. It's a social activity, but because he doesn't have any time for friends, he has to create an artificial social scenario, which is why host clubs are so popular in Japan, which is why you have snack bars like the ones we went to in fucking Kobe. That's what happens when you have no time for yourself and you have no time for... What? Sorrows? What sorrows? What did I say? You just live an increasingly isolated, alienated life where sorrows. Sorry, yeah. Where even like something that's otherwise considered like a social function, a social activity, can be relegated or can be turned into like an individual thing, like a sad and more isolated experience. Does your brain ever fart from speaking English and thinking in Turkish? No, I think in English when I'm in America. Man is worth $100 million and bitching about poor people being able to buy new clothes or a plane ticket. Yeah, I hate that shit. It's so condescending. It's so fucking annoying. Bill Maher is worth so much without any sort of like discernible skill. And all he does is fucking complain about poor people who haven't even gotten a jump start on society and been fucked over by the boomers regardless before they even began to operate in the workforce. And he thinks it's fucked up that they get to have 10K of their debt eradicated when that debt shouldn't even exist to begin with. People need to stop romanticizing Japan. Lots of suffering going on there. Yes, there are. But it's hard not to acknowledge that, like, Japan should be as desolate and as destroyed as the United States of America is. But for some reason, it still works.
Talk about giveaways. Under Trump, the Congress voted for $1 trillion in tax breaks for the richest people in this country and the largest corporations. That's a giveaway. We just increased military spending with very little discussion. I don't know if you know this, by $80 billion.
Great
military
take.
Industrial complex.
Including the Democrats.
Pardon me?
The Democrats vote for it too.
Yes, absolutely correct. Absolutely right. All right.
But that's socialism, the military. That's crony socialism.
Well, that's
right.
Crony capitalism.
But the military isn't capitalism. That's the government.
No, but it's who owns the military industrial complexes. All right, but anyhow.
Right.
All right. So when you talk about...
Yeah, exactly. No, it's 100% correct. Exactly. The military is, in a way, no different than, people talking about how, like, in China, you have people dying in Foxconn facilities, which, like, things have gotten significantly better in China. Okay? But it's literally that. You got American men and women, young fucking 17-year-old dickheads, getting enlisted to go and, like, kill people overseas and get fucked up, specifically so Raytheon's profit margins look better. That's like at least China threw its labor force at the problem and then collectivized the gains so that, like, they could uplift themselves and eradicate extreme levels of poverty in less than a couple decades. In America, we throw bodies at the problem so that Raytheon executives can make a tidy profit. There you go.
giveaways you have. Maybe
Yeah, Iraq was so socialist, right? Yeah, I mean, exactly. Obviously, it's not. My point is right-wing Americans or pro-capitalist Americans love shitting on China and saying, like, oh, well, China abused its own labor force in order to, uplift China. And I'm like, bro, we abuse our own labor force in the same way, and we're not making, like, valuable things. We no longer have a robust manufacturing industry. We no longer are making things that are of value. We don't have manufacturing here. All of our output is about destruction, and that destruction is at the behest of the military-industrial complex, and the profits of that destruction are not even socialized. The gains are not socialized. Only the losses are. So, yeah, if you want to think about it like, oh, China abused its own labor force and, like, fucking, enslaved its own labor force or whatever the fuck. Yeah, but at least they fucking took the benefits of that and socialized it and uplifted the entire country. So did America? No, the fuck it didn't. And no, it's not. You are wrong about that. Oh, you're saying America did that too, as far as as far as America is throwing human bodies at the problem too. Yeah. Do you just defend China law? My friend, you might be new here, but China has defensible qualities, and I defend it regularly. I am a fair and honest man. Just because a country is the enemy of this state does not change my assessment on certain values and principles I believe in. Anyway. But of course, like socialism is not when the government does things, and the more the government does things, the more socialist it is. That's a silly notion. It's incorrect. It's false, and I don't believe that. But of course, Bill Maher is going to take advantage of the fact that most people are unfamiliar with this process. Anyway,
major corporations in this country that make billions in profit don't pay a nickel in taxes. Billionaires have an effective tax rate lower than that of a truck driver or a nurse. You have a generation, you talk about this younger generation right now. I got around the country and I talked to a lot of people. I don't know anything about that poll, but I can tell you, I've talked to nurses who are working their asses off, doing the right thing. They leave school $70,000 in that. They can't afford now to get married and have children. They can't afford the housing that they desperately need. So the truth is, you got a generation that, everything being equal, the younger generation will have a lower standard of living than their parents. You and I, and I'm a little older than you, can remember 50 years ago, what did it cost to go to the University of California? Remember?
$50.
Yeah.
500.
Virtually free. City University.
He's wearing him down. God, Bernard, do it. Do it to him, Bernard. He's wearing him down. Slowly but surely. He's doing a decent job at it.
New York, right. Virtually free. And now, these young people are leaving school deeply in debt. They're struggling economically. They deserve a break.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Why didn't you agree with it before then, you fucking asshole?
You feel like the Democratic Party, you take your shots at them, and, you caucus with them, and you run at.
Dude, one of the things that makes me a relatively popular figure in these spaces is quite literally the reality that I shit on the Democratic Party. I shit on the Democratic Party when they do things that are worthy of being shitted on. And people love that, okay? Because people love to hate the Democratic Party for sometimes good reason and oftentimes for bad reasons too. But there is nothing better than doing that, because Dems do suck and they need to know that.
As one, but you're not completely part of them.
Right.
You say they feel like they're abandoned their cause to the beautiful people. Who are the beautiful people? I'm guessing it's not
Bill.
us.
You're looking really beautiful tonight here in L.A.
Me? Thank you, Bernie.
Here's the point. The point that I was making is, when FDR was president, when Truman was president, even when JFK was president, you go out on the street and you say to people, which party represents the working class of America? Most people, I think, agree, would have said the Democratic Party.
Correct.
All right. Today, you go out on the street, and that is not the sentiment. In fact, the Republican Party probably has more adherents than the Democrats.
How did that happen?
I'll tell you how it happened. It happened because 30 years ago, the Democrats said, hey, Republicans are getting all this corporate money. We want it too. Let's go out and get it. And let's forget about the people who are working 50 or 60 hours a week. So you're sitting out there somewhere in the Midwest. You can't afford health care. Maybe your job went to China and you're earning half of what you used to make. Your kid can't afford to go to college. And you're looking at people on television doing all of their stuff, and you are saying, who the hell gives a damn about me? All right? Who cares what my life is about? Who's addressing the crises facing my life, the pain that I'm experiencing? We have something, I don't know if you're familiar with the expression, it's called diseases of despair.
Of course.
All right. And what the doctors tell us, we have a life expectancy above and beyond COVID, which is in decline. It's in decline because people feel hopeless. Their jobs are taking them nowhere, worried about their kids, and they're turning to alcohol, drugs, and even suicide. All right? We've got to restore hope to the American people. Working class are the majority of people in this country. They are hurting. After 50 years of exploding technology, they're earning less than they did before. All right?
You sound like you're running again. No? Third
No,
time?
I'm just talking about the book here.
Third time the charm? People usually write a book when they're about to run.
Well, no.
I mean, I don't give a fuck. He runs again. I fucking vote for him again. I vote for him as many times as he wants to run, you know? Oh, overtime. Bernie Sanders was up with Russell Brand, which is wild.
Okay, we're on CNN now. I don't know how that happened. But we're back with our panel from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, the senator. Host of Showtime's The Circus, John Heilman, and actor and comedian Russell Brand are back with us. Okay, so here are the questions.
Not that it matters. Like, fucking, he runs again. People are going to be like, he's too old. So is Joe Biden, but that don't matter because he's the most electable. Because why? Because the TV man told me so. But, you know, he runs again. I vote for him again. You know the song and dance. I don't give a fuck. Ultimately, though, no, I don't think he's going to win.
People wrote in, I guess this is for you because it mentions the Brit Awards. What does the panel think of the discussion around the Oscars getting rid of gender-specific categories like Best Actor and Best Actress, and how did it work out at the Brit Awards?
As a person who's never won an award, I feel confident in saying that they are vacuous and pointless, a distraction.
Russell Brand is so interesting because, like, he has such good takes, or used to have such good takes, especially as it pertains to socialism, but he's such a fucking granola nut job that, like, all he does now is, like, China is the fucking worst, yeah? And COVID is a lie told to us by big pharmaceuticals. It's like, just like, how did you, what happened? Like, what the fuck happened to this guy? God, so many motherfuckers just, like, broke their brains with COVID. Yes, but Russell Brand is also basically mates with JBP and Ben Shapiro. Yeah, I know. The common thread is that he's a contrarian, not a thinker. I know, but, like, he didn't have to go that far left. That's not contrarianism to be like, I will never, I use Russell Brand's quotes, one Russell Brand quote all the time. Like, literally nonstop. It's an old one, which I rarely ever credit to him because he's such a fucking kook now. But the whole, like, I used to advocate for socialism when I was poor and they called me jealous. Now I'm rich and I advocate for socialism and they call me a hypocrite. I realized that, you know, people just were mad about me advocating for socialism. Dude, you think it's from him? Yes, that is a Russell Brand quote. That is actually him. I know it says, it seems insane because he's such a fucking kook. I thought that was your quote. No, it's not my quote. It's his quote. I used to fucking quote him, and now I don't because it's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing, lad. The actual quote was complain about inequality. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's my quote now. Just tell people I came up with it, because if you tell people that Russell Brand came up with it, you're going to be fucking laughed out of the room. Was he a kook before or after he started talking about trans shit? Because I wouldn't be shocked. Wait, I didn't even know he talked about trans shit. Wait, he's on that grift too now? Oh, no. Is he? I doubt it. What is he? He's like a Hollywood guy. When the fuck? No, I don't think he's like anti-trans or whatever. That would be shocking. Like, dude, for Russell Brand, he didn't have to be a fucking leftist, but he was, you know what I mean? So I always appreciated that about him. No, he doesn't. Yeah, that would be surprising if he was like literally fucking anti-trans. I'm gonna be honest with you. He pretty much just presents facts that go against the mainstream narrative and back it up with evidence. Yeah, dude, I know. Facebook posts. I know. Guys, everybody stop saying he's transphobic. I don't know if he actually is or not. I don't know. I don't watch his shit. I just know that he's like definitely fucking like a COVID truther. I know that. Lil bro fumbled Katy Perry just suffering from divorce brain rot. They had a trans debate. Oh, they debated it. That makes more sense. Hannity has an interview with Rhonda Stinky. Yeah, I'm not going to watch that. I don't care about that.
Action at a time where we need to be coming together around real principles and values. Unless someone wants to give me an award, in which case I'd like to make it as specific as possible so I could bloody well get it.
But am I wrong that at the Brit Awards, which is for music?
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, but look, he expertly deflected that, by the way. Notice how he didn't fucking mention the trans shit and just basically moved on from it. He's like, yeah, well, I'd like it to be as specific as possible so I can get it, which I think it was a clever and charismatic way to deflect away without like actually saying anything about it. Like at the top of the hour, the clever and charismatic way to deflect the ad breaks is by subscribing, right? For $5 or for free with Twitch Prime, or by getting gifted a sub, you can expertly deflect away the top of the hour ad break. Now, that might have come as a shock to you, even though it is the top of the hour, because I expertly delivered that to you. I don't know if I want to read that. Okay. I don't want that to be clipped out. Sorry. NEGA_74. Thank you for the 3 gifted subs. I don't know how to read that, so I'm not going to do it. Man, you were off your game tonight? Wait, what? 2 Rishi, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. What the fuck are you talking about? I thought I did a good job. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
I hosted that before, but I'll tell you, Bill, that I was able to let go of the experience and have never thought about it since. I feel that it might be fundamentally meaningless.
Okay.
I can't find meaning in it.
But
I've looked.
What I
There's
read
none.
was it used to be best male, best female, and they just cut out the categories, and it was one, like it was the only people who won. It was 4 men and Harry Styles.
Yeah, I think.
No, no women won.
Like that's like a decent joke, kind of. Like that's a joke. Like obviously he's saying like Harry Styles, like he dresses like a woman. Like I'm not in the business of like joke policing to that degree. That was not a joke, Lamau. Come on. Of course it's a joke. He's a boomer. He's like making a joke saying Harry Styles is like a woman. Delivery is not the best. It's lazy, but whatever.
Just give awards to Harry Styles, and that can be an industry.
Okay.
I will watch the world incinerate while Harry Styles.
But the main point is that he's like still trying to fish for like any kind of anti-trans sentiment that he can get out of Russell Brand here.
Answers beautifully.
What is the likelihood that Congress will abolish daylight savings time? Is this something? I read this also today that.
Is that like they're calling it the permanent daylight savings time? I don't really even understand what that could mean.
Do you care about this? Are you?
No.
Seriously? Come on.
I have been criticized for having a very narrow focus. I accept that criticism. Daylight savings time is not one of the issues that I've been studying.
Okay, but you know what? I bet you this is the kind of stuff that actually affects a lot of people.
It does. It does.
And it's anachronistic. It's stupid. I don't get.
That's pretty funny. I like that. That's a good take. Whatever. I mean, yeah, daylight savings time sucks, but like that's cool. I like that.
I don't know. I guess we did it 100 years ago because farmers needed. Okay, well, how many people in America are farmers? It's like 1% of the population. I mean, we need the farmers. I love food. I'm not crazy about the way they do their farming, torturing animals. Yeah. And by the way, just to connect it once more to COVID, we are never going to be done with diseases like COVID while we are still torturing animals. It all comes from animals.
Oh shit, he's on his based vegan arc. What is this, bro? The fuck's he saying? Yo, what? He's on his fucking vegan liberal arc. I mean, he's so annoying. Vegans, don't celebrate this man being your loyal soldier, okay? Listen, let me tell you something. You don't want this motherfucker advocating for your shit.
Now we have to worry about bird flu. Bird flu. It's birds and pigs.
We're back in the wet market again, where it's like it's the reality. It's like there's bad shit that goes on in those places.
That's right, and that's why that also could be where it came from. But it always jumps from animals to people, and it wouldn't.
It's so funny. He's like, "Wow, animal production is so horrific." It's like we need to stop farming animals. Like it's really fucked up. But also, if you're a human being and you have student loan debt relief, then fuck yourself. You're a lazy piece of shit who's just gonna buy drugs with the extra financial security you have now. Like, thanks, man.
If we didn't pen up the animals and torture them before we eat them.
It seems like.
And
let me be non-funny. Your point about sickness and the possibility of future pandemics absolutely speaks to the need for international cooperation. Because a pandemic is not going to be an American issue. It's not going to be a Chinese issue. We're going to have to bring the world together to deal with climate, to deal with pandemics.
Okay. Should law enforcement be policing TikTok in order to crack down on illegal trends like the viral challenge to steal Kias and Hyundais? Oh, yeah. Do you know about this? There's TikTok videos that show how you could, with just I think, a screwdriver and a iPhone charger, you can hotwire a Kia and Hyundai, so like they're being stolen left and right. What do you think about TikTok? That's another thing that's before Congress. Somebody has a bill to ban TikTok, certainly for people under 16. I think that's Josh Hawley.
Shouts out to the Kia boys.
Well, I think the concern is TikTok is a Chinese-owned company, and you're seeing states and the U.S. government not wanting to use it for fear that some secretive information could fall into China.
This is Facebook meme news. I mean, no, there is definitely Kias and Hyundais are pretty easy to steal and hotwire, from what I understand. Like literally, they do actually steal them a lot because kids don't have shit to do. Like we've watched it. We know why they do it. I talked about it. It's because they have no fucking they have no opportunities at school. They don't even have like fucking enough books at school. Everything is underfunded, so they got nothing going on. They're bored. They just, fucking steal Kias and Hyundais and joyride them. This doesn't make it okay. My goal is to, of course, stop that from happening. And if you want to stop that from happening, all you have to do is offer these kids who are otherwise like fairly industrious. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to learn about and be able to do that kind of thing. Just arm the Kias, give them guns. No, just after school programs, public parks, basketball leagues, sports leagues in general. These are things that demonstrably decrease juvenile criminal behavior. Okay, I ran the ad already. Yeah, get the kids to work in the fucking auto shops, like straight up, like as not like literally work for money. I mean like learning programs, like trade programs early on. I don't mean child labor, chat. Calm down. I saw a tweet from a man living in the projects that said the glorification of the hood life is silly and that it's mostly boring because of the poverty. Yeah, that's what it is. That's literally what it is. Of course, it's boring as fuck. You got nothing. You have no money. Chatters know this. You watch me for fucking 8 hours a day. Why? Because you got nothing else going on. So you got to like make fun for yourself somehow. Not everybody has money to just like go and John Morant is a millionaire and still acts up. Oh my fucking Lord. This discourse is so fucking annoying. There are cultural aspects of white people, just like black people, okay, sometimes behaving in this manner. That does not have anything to do with being from the hood or anything like that. Okay? Motherfucker said John Morant, dude. That's so ugh. All right, I gotta pee. Let's finish this Bernie Sanders video.
Well, but also it's rotting the minds of our young people.
Well, it's a whole other story, but that's beyond TikTok, isn't it?
It is, but TikTok is not helping.
I would say the rotting of the minds of America's youth is a problem that existed long before TikTok. And
it made it.
It's like one of the great things about being young.
Made it much worse. Kids at least used to read a book. I don't think kids ever see a book. They do not read. They scroll. Scrolling does not make you smart.
Not to become overly serious, I think it is now perceived that the pandemic has made the mental health crisis that we previously had even worse. And there is a lot of discussion about the impact of social media and the isolation and the lack of human contact that it develops on our health.
All right. Russell, what are your thoughts on the UFOs that were intercepted and shot down by the U.S. military last month? I don't know if they're referring to the Chinese balloons. They were not UFOs because we know what they were. They were Chinese balloons. But there were other things. There were some things that they shot that we didn't get, and we don't know what they are, and there are things that we haven't found out what they are after we did shoot them down.
I wonder whether or not the $14 trillion that have been granted to the Pentagon, 55% of which has ended up in the hands of the military-industrial complex, which surely American people are becoming weary of, needs occasionally to be boosted with fanciful ideas of extraterrestrial invasion. Maybe there needs to be a continual reminder that the skies themselves could become a threat unless Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, BAE Systems continue to profit. Elsewise, a balloon, a perfect metaphor, for it is naught but hot air, nothing inside it, shot down by a $400,000 missile, might be coming for your family.
Well, but again,
I'm surprised he wouldn't hit the anti-China sentiment, but that's probably because he hates China, right? Because they do like the COVID lockdown measures are too crazy, right? It's not a rare Russell W. Bro, you have to understand. You have to understand how fucking Russell Brand operates and what his like background was originally. That's not a rare take for him at all. If anything, his new takes are the rare ones in comparison to where he used to be and what he used to say. His new dumbass takes are the fucking rare ones.
We were just saying here, we all should be skeptical and have open minds on everything. It is possible that there's life on other planets that are visiting us or scouting us. I mean, there are even the U.S. Even the U.S.
You've upset him.
I'm just saying it's possible. Carl Sagan said
it is possible. Okay. But if you think that something from another universe came all the way here and was just kind of dragging around and was shot down very easily, I think if it's a UFO, they would have done a little bit better in avoiding and evading that kind of missile.
First of all, we're not saying it's from another universe. We're saying it's from the same universe. The universe is very big. Very big.
Bill, I think Bernie...
When Russell Brand is sounding more sensible than you got issues? What do you mean? Russell Brand's everything he just said was literally verbatim everything I've said about the... What? I assume you mean Bill Maher, I guess.
It's a good point. It's not like E.T. would come all the way here.
But that's not rare. That's not rare for Russell. That's not rare for Russell Brand. He's always been like anti-military industrial complex. Even his like anti-vax opinion comes from like anti-farmer resentment, anti-big pharma resentment, but like it's not valid. His anti-big pharma resentment is understandable, but his anti-vax sentiment is not valid.
Up outside Elliot's house. He's made it all the way here.
I never said all of his takes are awful anyway. Not all. Yeah, he has good takes as well.
Okay, The Chinese balloon is different. Well, I'm not saying the Chinese balloon was from another universe or this universe.
I mean, it would have to be from China. Yeah. If it's a Chinese balloon, and I mean that with all due respect,
unless
that's the least it can do.
Well,
I was just gonna say, I think
I'm moving on.
The obvious.
You brought Bernie back out here. He won't be happy if you're going to talk about extraterrestrials and balloons and that.
Yeah. Okay.
If you look
I mean, he's right. That's a good take, too. He's like, get back on fucking convo, mate. Get back on the fucking convo, mate. You're on the telly. You got Bernard Sanders in the flesh, and you're talking about fucking Chinese balloons.
Inequality.
If you're looking for proof that there's life in outer space, intelligent life in outer space, you need to look no further than Russell. So there's not really another accounting for how
I'm glad that became a compliment, sir, because I was rearing up.
No, don't you worry. Only compliments, my friend.
With all the emphasis on DEI, are we confusing equality of opportunity with trying to guarantee equity and outcomes?
So here is the fucking annoying part that Twitter leftists were angry at Bernie Sanders for, because he doesn't have an immediate piffy response to this. It's like, yeah, because it's a dumb argument presented by right-wingers, okay? Not everyone is going to be as, like, apt and aware of, like, what the stupid ass question is.
Okay, that's interesting, because I think this word equity has come into the language in the last few years, and before that we didn't hear it a lot. And I think a lot of people hear equity and they hear equality. That like it's the same word, and it's not the same word in the same
No, it's not
concept.
the same
So
word.
how would you differentiate between equity and equality?
Well, equality, we talk about, I don't know what the answer to that is. Come to think of it, equality is equality of opportunity. All right? We live in a society, we want all people to have whatever color your skin is.
Equity, I think, is more guarantee of outcome, is it not?
I think so. I think that's
okay. So which side do you come down on?
Equality.
Equality.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Boys?
The point is, no, here's how it works, okay? Equity, equality, it doesn't fucking matter. We do not have equality. We do not have equality of opportunity, okay? If you think equity is equality of outcome, it doesn't matter, okay? Because we do not have equality of opportunity in this fucking country, okay? We don't have anything. And we're having a dumb semantics argument. We do not have either. People say equity is about equality of outcome. That's like a fucking right-wing framing on the concept of equity. I don't care. Okay? Because everyone ultimately is just simply talking about everybody being able to have, everyone being able to prosper, okay? It's just stupid. It's a stupid semantics conversation when, in fact, nobody has the opportunity to prosper in this fucking country other than, like, the extremely wealthy.
Any comment on that one?
I just don't know if that's the definitional difference, but certainly this debate over the question of equality of outcome over equality of opportunity is one that has been, it's the question that underlies affirmative action and everything else that we've had in our politics for a very long time. And there's obviously people very strong, even people who actually want equality of outcome say they only want equality of opportunity and vice versa. But that's that issue, that core of that. What do you actually want? And I think Bernie is where everyone says they want to be, but there are in fact programs that have been designed to actually engineer equal outcomes, not just equal opportunity, and that's where a lot of the controversy has arisen.
Okay.
What? Like what? What is the what? No. What outcomes? Who has engineered equal outcomes? God damn, bro. Is there not a single normal person here? Like, what the fuck are you? What? No, none of that outrage is real. As a matter of fact, this conversation is literally using this conversation in and of itself plays the exact same role as the equity versus equality debate. It is a simple deflection away from the material realities that there is no material equality in this country, that there is no equal opportunity in this fucking country. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's the main point of contention here. Okay? Are you saying affirmative action programs aren't real? Affirmative action programs are bullshit, and not for the reason why you think they're bullshit, okay? That's so fucking stupid. You think affirmative action is proper restitution for slavery and segregation? You got to be out of your fucking mind to think that. Okay? Meanwhile, once again, yet another example of like the real affirmative action that is like annoying and damaging is not when like some random black kid gets into fucking Harvard, okay? That's when people who buy library wings to Harvard, whose parents got into Harvard, get into Harvard as well. Legacy admissions are significantly a larger problem with respect to like performance-based metrics than anything else. And for some reason, nobody talks about that, and everybody talks about affirmative action. Because once again, white supremacy is a really effective cudgel to divide the working class and shift your attention away from the main issue, which is wealthy people get away with putting their wealthy children into Harvard even if they don't deserve to fucking go there. Harvard body does not even resemble the diverse body of the American population, and it certainly does not resemble the diverse body of the American population based on class position, or rather, not class position, but instead, you know, what their parents do, okay? What, do you think like 90% of America is extremely wealthy? No, but 90% of Harvard is. What is it, 65% of Harvard is legacy admissions? You think they all deserve to be there just because their parents are there? Shut the fuck up. That's the real non-equality and non-equity fucking position. And you never talk about that. Wait, is it? Actually, it might not be as hard. It's not 65. I think 65 is non-legacy maybe. Let's see. Harvard legacy admissions rate. 36% of Harvard is a legacy student. And it's gone up. 36% of the Harvard class of 2022 may claim a relative who's a student there in the past. Okay, but if you get black students into Harvard through affirmative action, then they will get their children in through legacy admissions. Okay. Eliminate legacy admissions if you really want to make sure black kids can't get into Harvard then. How about that? It's just very, very, very silly. You're hyper-focusing. You're again tackling the issue because it ends up almost sounding like, and I'm not saying you're doing that, but it almost does end up sounding like you just don't want black people to go to Harvard, kind of. Like, maybe you didn't intend to sound like that, but it sure is sounding like that. You're like, well, what about black children who then also, take advantage of the Harvard, Harvard legacy admissions process? Like, that's kind of a wild thing to take. That's a wild takeaway. Why did you bring that up? That was weird. 43% of white students are legacy athletes related to donors or staff. Holy fuck. 43% of the white students. Sheesh. 43% of the white students are legacy athletes related to donors or staff. God damn. And by the way, Harvard athlete means no athlete scholarships. So that means that they're rich too. So like they were able to get in on, they were able to get in on that. Harvard doesn't have a good team for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is because you don't actually get a scholarship for athletics. So nobody who's actually good is going to go to the fucking school. You have to pay for it. Bro, would you not agree that a lot of people in legacy programs have merit and deserve to be there? Shouldn't they be rewarded for their hard work? Brother, that's crazy because you made the assumption that, one, black students do not have merit. You just made the assumption that black students do not have merit when they get into Harvard and can only get into Harvard through affirmative action. Then turned around and said, but what about black students who get into Harvard through affirmative action? Their children get in through legacy admissions. And then said, well, the legacy admissions programs, the kids in there have merit. You're just, again, telling on yourself over and over again. Do you understand what you're doing? The assumption is that black students do not have merit to go there. Well, that's because the hood is prevalent within black pop culture and it romanticizes violence. Brother, black culture is American culture. Without black culture, there is no American culture, okay? The fuck do you mean? Whenever someone makes that distinction, I always laugh because it's like, what, you think white people are not the main consumers of black culture? What are you, fucking crazy? That's everything. Ironic because, black people don't even have ownership over the culture that they create. That's another part of the problem. Re-examine your behavior and your attitude and your opinions because it does seem a lot like you have some biases. I'm being as charitable as possible. By the way, this further proves that everyone who's against LeBron is racist. Just going to point that out. Just going to have to point that out. My former opinion on people who shit on LeBron James are racists. I look no further than this guy. The way he's behaving in the chat and the things he's saying. This y'all's ally, dude. LeBron haters. This is who you have aligned yourself with. Just going to point that out. Okay, bro, enough with the anecdotes. I'm just saying.
Have Democrats done enough to support strong labor unions, Bernie? What's the future of unions in this country? I think they just subpoenaed the Starbucks dude.
They didn't. I did. That's not fair. No, look. We're not going to have, that is an issue I do know something about and that I pay attention to. And the bottom line is that you're not going to have a middle class in this country unless workers are able to stand up, organize, form unions, and negotiate for decent contracts. And what we're seeing right now is more and more workers wanting to form unions, but you're seeing companies like Starbucks and Amazon and Apple and other large corporations really engaging in illegal union busting. So we have asked the leader of Starbucks, the head of CEO, Howard Schultz, to explain to us why he thinks it's acceptable that over 50 occasions the NLRB has said they have broken federal labor law in breaking unions. So we hope to have him come before our committee. There will be a vote on Wednesday ask a vote on subpoenaing him.
And it does seem like there is a strange sort of hypocrisy there, because these are usually liberal companies. I think Whole Foods also. And it's like they care a lot about the indigenous people of the Bolivian Andes, but not about some worker in Cincinnati.
You got it. All right. They're very liberal about everything except whether workers can form a union and earn decent wages. They're very liberal except whether or not we ask them to pay their fair share of taxes. They're not so liberal then. That's right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, CNN.
Kind of an unproductive conversation for Bernard. I'm gonna be honest.